Harvey here, author of the Bernicia Chronicles and Time for Swords, Wolf of Wessex, and some other bits and pieces. And I'm here in the writing shed, which is really a converted garage. And I've noticed again, of course, my on-air sign is not glowing and is not on, but I am on air. But the reason it's not there is because the little power pack that I use to power it is in my suitcase, because we're going on holiday. So I thought rather than a Friday, as I'm going to be away, I would do a quick catch up and just say hello to anybody and everybody out there. And been very busy recently with, if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you go and check it out. The podcast that I and Stephen A. Mackay, fellow historical fiction author, have launched together. So it's a podcast about all things historical and action and adventure. And it's quite a lot of fun. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. It's available on all the sort of usual places that you can imagine. There's some links in the description of this video. We're also on YouTube now as well. So if you search for it, you can find it anywhere and everywhere where podcasts can be found. And there's also at the moment, until the end of July, we're running a giveaway for some signed books by Stephen and myself. So if you listen to the podcast and enjoy it, please leave a positive rating or review on the website or the app where you listen to it, and let us know somehow. Message us, send us a message on Facebook or Twitter or somehow before the end of July, and we will stick your name in a hat for some signed books by me and Stephen. So that's the main bit of news really that I wanted to sort of let you all know, just make sure you're all aware of the podcast, because although I'll still do these infrequent or frequent maybe, or unscheduled live chats and updates, there'll be much more detailed stuff and longer pieces in the episodes of Rock, Paper, Swords. And we've already recorded a few episodes, and we've got an interesting interview coming up with a very successful, well-known writer. And there'll be more interviews in the future and more discussion between Stephen and myself about different aspects of writing and history and rock and roll and all sorts. And if you haven't listened to the podcast yet, you're missing a treat, because the theme tune is also performed by Stephen and myself, written in fact by Stephen. He plays all the instruments, and I did most of the vocals. I did pretty much all the vocals except for I think Stephen's got like a background somewhere. It's quite heavy. So that's the rock from the Rock, Paper, Swords of the title of the podcast. In other news, what have I been doing? Still working on the synopses of the next few books that I'm planning to bring out, I'm going to work on. I've finished 2, which I've just sent to my editor because I'm going away, as I said, on holiday. So I wanted to get out of the way before I went. And also I've done the structural edits for the for Forest of Foes, which is out in December. So Forest of Foes is the 9th book in the Bernicia Chronicles, the story of Bearbrand. And yeah, I've done all of those edits now, and the next thing is it will be going on to copy edits to the copy editor, and then back to me, then just to verify those edits and those tweaks, and then on to proofreading, and then it's page setting, and also sent off some information to the editors about the maps that are necessary. I just wondered there if I hadn't actually turned on my volume of my microphone. I suddenly had a moment. But no, thank goodness I have. Also sent some information about the maps to my editor. So they'll be preparing the maps for those for Forest of Foes. And then, when I'm back from holiday in a week or so, I'll be carrying on with the synopsis of the 3rd book that I'm talking about, which is the 3rd book of the A Time for Swords series. untitled as yet, but that's going to take Hunlaf down south into southern Europe and into the north edge of Africa, I guess. But that synopsis is still it's not polished yet. So, but the other two is looking good, and I think I just heard back from my editor saying that the synopsis look good. In fact, he said Google auto reply suggested these are great, and he said you can't argue with an AI. So it's good to know that Google is telling my editor that my writing is great. So that's it. So great synopses from me. Hopefully the books will be good too. Thanks to everybody for all your support. If you want some more in-depth stuff of behind the scenes information and to read some exclusive bits and pieces of my writing and to find out what's going on, as I say, more in depth and more sort of behind the scenes, then feel free to go to Patreon and you can see all the sort of perks you can get there. There's well over 100 articles or posts that I've already made there, and quite a few bits and pieces that are exclusive to patrons. And I think that's about it at the moment that I can think of. So yeah, thanks to everybody. Thanks for your support. Thanks hopefully you'll go and listen, if you haven't already, to the podcast Rock Paper Swords. Please spread the word. Hope you enjoy it, and see you soon, and happy reading.